Consumer surplus. Benefit enjoyed by consumers who are willing and able to pay at a higher price than they are able to. Producer surplus. Benefit enjoyed by producers who are willing and able to sell their products at a lower price than they are able to. We can identify a consumer and surplus and a producer surplus on a demand and supply diagram. Example, the one drawn here. As you can see, it is at most efficient when PE meets QE and when the marginal benefit and the marginal cost crosses each other at this point here. This is the goal for all markets and consumers. However, if it was Q1, the marginal cost will be very low and the marginal benefit will be very high. That means price is low and demand is high. So in order for it to get more towards the QE and the PE, you have to raise prices and the demand was slightly lower, but it will still be efficient. However, at Q2 here, the marginal benefit or the demand is quite low. However, the marginal cost, the price, is really high. That means the demand is really low and the price is really high. Therefore, you need to lower the price in order to increase demand into it and for it to get closer to the efficient QE and PE.
In the graph, we have a marginal cost and a marginal benefit. The marginal cost is represented as the supply curve and the marginal benefit is represented as the demand curve. As Izadin said earlier, the efficiency of the graph is when the marginal benefit intersects with the marginal cost. This is known as the equilibrium because the consumer surplus equals to the producer surplus, which means it's efficient. Efficiency means that it is the limit of both sides to benefit. If one of the two sides benefits even more, the other side would start to lose. It is said earlier, if the quantity of demand is set before the quantity equilibrium, which is before the equilibrium point, there is a high marginal benefit but little marginal cost. This would mean that the marginal benefit for the consumer surplus is high and the benefit for the producer surplus is low. To even things up, the marginal benefit is to move along the curve downwards and the marginal cost is to move along the curve upwards, meeting at the intersection. Now let's just give an example for this marginal cost and marginal benefit. Imagine there is a theater which can hold up to 100 audiences. Then imagine if there is only 20 people attending this act. This quantity demand would be before the quantity equilibrium, meaning that the audiences would have more marginal benefits than the cost. Since, for example, the queue for the snack store would be shorter since there's less people, the crowd would be less noisier, other benefits that they won't get if the audience is crowded and packed. Therefore, this scenario has high marginal benefit and low marginal cost. Okay, now let's just think of the opposite. 95 audiences attending this act for the theater. The marginal benefit would be a lot less compared to the scenario before because the queue would be longer, the snack bar would be full, the crowd might be noisier. Therefore, in this scenario, the quantity demand would be after the quantity equilibrium, meaning the marginal benefit would be low and the marginal cost would be high.